baseball's such a magical sport. People have been playing it for a long time, 1800s all the way till now. What made you decide to drop down? I think the drop down story is always so cool. Of course, Coach Freeborn, you do a great job on your podcast, but what's the drop down moment for you?
It was the only way to keep a jersey on, honestly. So when I got to college at Seattle University, it was the first year coming back to the program, and the first year is Division One. So we had limited scholarships, and basically had to build a team from the ground up. So at the time, I was an infielder who could pitch, and then the year later, after that didn't go very well, I was a pitcher who could kind of like basically be the pinch hitter off the bench and whatnot. But like it really wasn't great there either. And so between my sophomore and junior year, we had attempted to drop down a few other guys, but they kind of approached me with, "Hey man, like if you want to keep playing, this is your option." And I was like, I kind of fought it because I felt like I could be good enough as I was. But at this point in time, I had no professional aspirations. Like I was going to college to get a degree to play baseball, and that's just what coming out of Washington State, like that's what you did. Like if you weren't a big name guy, like you weren't ever going to make it. So it was like, all right, you know what? Like I'll just go play college baseball and then go get my degree. And we dropped down and fought it. Once I bought in, spent hours by myself, kind of learning how to master it indoors, throwing to essentially a brick wall in Seattle because it's always raining, and it's basically I take it from I put like a big tape box on the wall and basically just tried it through, found a spot that was comfortable with some flow of like a guy flipped me a double play ball, and I would just try and throw a strike at the moment, and then just slowly make that box smaller and smaller and smaller until it became essentially the like electrical outlet. And I would
Yeah.
just try to aim for that. Now I couldn't hit it every time, but that was my like, okay, you know what, like I think we can compete. And by that time, it was kind of like midway through my junior year that I started to like piece things together and be able to throw a sinker for a strike and throw a slider for a strike, do that. Um, and then by my senior year, uh, through well, like Oregon had Jimmy Sherfy at the time and a couple other draft prospects, so there were scouts watching them. And then played Oregon State, and that was when Conforto was on the team. They had a couple of pitchers who were big draft guys, and just happened to throw well against them. And like all of a sudden we're on guys' draft boards. I was like, I had already been sending in applications for my master's in teaching. Like I was not going to go play baseball and um, go undrafted and go play in the Pecos League for a little bit. End up signing with the Padres, and then somehow 10 years later, after all of that, I guess 12 years later after the actual change, I finally hang him up and start coaching. But so like it all started with a, hey man, like kind of an ultimatum, like if you want to keep playing, you can do this or transfer. But at that time, transferring wasn't as common as it is now. But like
Yeah,
it was
absolutely.
basically like hang him up as a 21-year-old, or you can try this. And I was like, oh, well, screw it, I might as well. And then now, like as like I guess low key as that sounds, but that's kind of what happened. And then I just refused to fail there for a while, and just kept getting opportunities, succeed, get another opportunity, succeed, get another opportunity, succeed. But it just kept happening. It wasn't as easy as other stories that you hear, but you had to just keep going, keep going, keep going, and then finally in 2019 reached the ultimate goal of putting on a big league uniform. And like I'm noticing now, like I was always proud of it, but like I'm noticing now, especially talking to the guys that I have on the team, like I might talk about it a lot, but that's because I'm very proud of that, and I think they respect that. But it went from, hey man, you could stop playing now, to 11 years later, 12 years later, having these conversations like who was I at the time, but now like I got to do what we all dream about. And what is it, like 24,000 people ever have done now?
I know. Yeah, that's
Um,
crazy.
Magical. That's the magical
so
part.
Yeah,
Yeah, it was
it's just little things like it's little things like that that just like every time I tell the story, it kind of hits a little bit of a little emotional button just because like I shouldn't have done it, and for whatever reason, we made it happen. So